few months back, I did a review of vice grips, kind of their standard locking pliers versus Bremen's exact copy, replica of the vice grips. And the Bremens did really well. Today, I'm going to compare vice grips C-clamp pliers, clamps I think is more appropriate, versus Bremen's C-clamp locking pliers. Let's get into it. I've been doing a lot of welding, and I've used both of these clamps a lot here lately. I've had these vice grips for a long time. I recently bought a bunch of the Bremen clamps. They're at a much better price point than the vice grips. So I hadn't really noticed a difference in their function. I did, however, upon closer review, I was just kind of checking this before I shot this video. I got these vice grips to clamp onto 4 inches, or clamp around 4 inches, and the Bremens are only capable of clamping around 3 inches. Each of them has a hair of play past that, but it is not anything that is notable. These clamps that don't have the swivel pad on them, they, I think, had an extra 1/8 of an inch on the swivel pad clamps. I don't have any comparable vice grip clamps like this, so I cannot compare the two of those. The quality seems to be comparable. I can't really tell the difference between the two as far as quality goes, at least at a glance. I did notice that the vice grips have a slight arc on their the arm of their clamp, and then the Bremen it's straight. One thing that I wanted to point out, and I haven't really done this test with the vice grip. Before I started shooting this video, I took this clamp, placed it on the edge of the table, and tightened it as much as I possibly could. I did not inspect it before I did so, but it appears that I have either bent it or it has misaligned slightly. I don't know if you can see that, where one side is not quite aligned perfectly to the other. It does, however, still put it between a piece of steel and clamp it. I'm going to do that again. I'm just trying to see if it's causing the steel to roll as I clamp it. Watching the video, it looks like it might be rolling the steel just a little bit as I tighten the clamp. It's hard to definitively tell. I'm not picking up any perception there. I'm not perceiving it. So I am going to test this other clamp, another Bremen, and see if I can bend it. If I am in fact bending these clamps under the strength of my hand, I mean, these things are, it's only like a 3-inch throat. My thought is you shouldn't be able to bend it with your hand with a 3-inch throat. The really long ones, maybe, but not, to me, not these. So I'm gonna set my camera up and I see if I can bend the second one. You see a little white circle there, that's just me making sure I stay within the camera shot. Sometimes when I'm doing these videos by myself, I have a way of wandering outside them. So I'm just trying to get this to a tightness where I can squeeze on it just as hard as I possibly can, maxing out my my hand strength, not using any sort of mechanical advantage. See if I get a little red in the face. I checked these before I clamped it. It still seems pretty flat. I'm not seeing any flex there. Some cheap clamps, they'll flex. You know, you get a little bow right in here, a little smiley face. I'm not seeing that. And I can't do that test on the vice grips because they have an arc, so you wouldn't be able to perceive it with a straight edge. So there it was. I'll go ahead and bring these back down. And they did not miss a line. So I'm guessing that just a touch of misalignment you see there, so that one is a touch that way versus this one's a little bit inside of it. It does not seem to affect the clamp. It's probably a quality control issue. I don't remember for sure how the packaging is. I threw the rest of it away, but you might be able to see that in the packaging. Obviously, I did not perceive it. I have not noticed it. This is another pair. That seems pretty good. So just, you know, look at it before you buy these. So as far as whether or not you should buy the Bremens, you know, generally speaking, it seemed like their quality was good, or is good. The price point is what gets me. That's why I bought a fair number of the Bremens. You know, you know, what I paid $12.99, $13.99 versus $21.99 and $21.49. You know, it's hard when you're, especially if you're starting out and you need a bunch of clamps, it's hard to justify that extra cost. But the extra inch that you get on the vice grip, that's kind of a big deal. So to me, if you can afford the extra, you know, price tag, I'm going to go with the vice grips here. But you know, in my case, I had to settle a little bit, and actually when I bought it, didn't even know it, that there was a difference in the clamping capacity. But I'd say that's a big deal. But again, price point oftentimes wins out here, and you'll just have to make the call as far as whether or not the Bremens meet your needs. The quality does generally seem to be good. Harbor Freight, I've noticed, like I said, there's little quality control issues. If you can look at these things closely in the store before you buy them, do that. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll see you on the next one.